What's up, 76ers fans, and welcome to another great episode of 76ers Daily right here on FanArch. I'm your host, Brant McCoskey, excited to be here with you today, and we are presented by Kalshi. As always, use code FanArchBasketball to get $10 when you trade 10. Now, I know this is old news. I know it's old news by now, but the 76ers have waved bye-bye to Daryl Morey, and really the question is now, who's going to replace him? And what's going to happen franchise-wise moving forward. So a lot to get into today, but really when it comes down to Daryl Morey, yes, the 76ers have said bye to him, but I wanted to do a quick review of what Daryl Morey has done in his time as an NBA executive. So really, Daryl Morey was a pioneer in the NBA. If you remember, he is the guy that really revolutionized the way NBA rosters were constructed. And so, he really emphasized high efficiency shots, specifically three-pointers, layups, free throws, and really kind of taking the value away from, like, say, the mid-range jumper, things like that. So really analytics was really his forte. And so, as an NBA executive, he oversaw the Houston Rockets from 2007 to 2020. He compiled the second best regular season record, 640 and 400 during his tenure there. Never had a losing season, producing 9 50-plus win seasons and 12 playoff appearances. Acquired James Harden, transforming him from a bench player into an MVP. And he was also named NBA Executive of the Year in 2017-2018. Now, that was with the Rockets, right? That was before he even came over to the 76ers. So really, what did he accomplish with the 76ers? Well, he was with the team from 2020 to 2026. He was the president of basketball operations, blah, blah, blah. We know all that. But he did maintain a top 3 winning percentage in the league. Okay. Great in the regular season. Fantastic in the regular season. He orchestrated the 2022 trade, bringing James Harden to Philadelphia in exchange for Ben Simmons. We all know how that played out. James Harden is one of the biggest whiners in the league. Executed trades. Sorry, words are hard. Executed trades for key players like Paul George and managed a chaotic 23-24 season when he again saw the departure of James Harden. Again, we all know how that worked out. But really, what was Morey's legacy with the team? Right? What was Morey's legacy with the team? Well, he was 270 and 212. They missed the playoffs once. They got eliminated in the first round once, and were dispatched in the second round 4 times. So they never made it to the conference finals. But in that department, Morey failed like everyone before him, which is true. The 76ers haven't made it out of the second round in 25 years. So who are the 76ers going to look to, right? Goodbye, Daryl Morey. New regime coming in. We don't know who that is yet. As of today, Friday, we don't know who that is yet, right? I think we have an idea of where they are leaning. But really, who does the 76ers turn to? And so, the draft is a little less than a month away, right? Free agency shortly after that, right? All of this is happening really, really fast for the 76ers as a franchise. And really, finding someone to steer the ship needs to happen quickly because there's a lot of questions that need answered for this franchise if they want to be contenders like they were last year. So, really, as of right now, replacement-wise, Bob Myers is currently overseeing the front office and conducting the search for new head of basketball operations. So he is, as president of the team's ownership entity, Myers is a strong internal candidate, which is great because he already knows the franchise. He knows the ins and out of the franchise. Having built the Golden State Warriors dynasty, though it's not really sure, or it's not really clear, I should say, whether he wants to jump into that GM seat again, right? We don't know if he wants to go back into a full-time GM role. And really, the way things have panned out for the 76ers recently, can you blame him? So I think another solid candidate for the spot would be Dennis Lindsey. He's currently with the Pistons. He is their current senior VP of basketball operations in Detroit. He brings a lot of experience previously overseeing the Utah Jazz as their GM. Mike Gansey with the Cavs, he is currently serving as their general manager. Dave Tellep, Spurs, again, great scouting background and a key part of one of the NBA's top developmental organizations, which is fantastic. Again, we've talked the last couple of days on the show about young talent that the 76ers team has. The development of them is massive. It's going to be crucial moving forward, especially when it comes to draft picks. Getting those younger players acclimated and developed into the players that this organization wants them to be. Matt Lloyd, Minnesota Timberwolves general manager. He has, again, a very strong scouting background, and he was previously with the Orlando Magic. Nick Uren, he's with the Phoenix Mercury, currently GM of the WNBA's Phoenix Mercury. Strong reputation from his time with the Golden State Warriors, where he also worked under Bob Myers. So there's a Bob Myers connection there, which is huge. Again, Bob Myers has a very tough job in this search, but really overseeing not just the 76ers, but he is also he's head of HBSE, which is the team's ownership entity, which is crazy. So really, Elton Brand is another one. The incumbent 76ers GM since 2018. He's considered the top internal option outside of Bob Myers. But the team is exploring external candidates as well, obviously. And then Vince Roseman, he is with the OKC Thunder, formerly a key figure in the Sixers draft scouting, now with the Thunder. So again, another external candidate, but has experience within the 76ers organization. So there are a couple key players there when it comes to having experience within the organization that could come back and help the team out. So really, the biggest thing is that whoever comes in to replace Daryl Morey is going to have their hands full. I mean, I think we can all agree with that, is that they're going to have their hands full. Life's going to come at them real fast. As soon as they walk in that door, they're going to be under a lot of pressure to restructure the roster around Embiid, and then, navigating any potential cap space issues with Paul George's contract and other contracts as well, trying to make room and make things, financially feasible for this team, not only for next year, but moving forward as well. So really, speaking of making moves, let's talk about our friends at Kalshi. The playoffs are here, and it's the most electric time in basketball, as we all know. On Kalshi, you can trade every single playoff game, every series, the conference finals, and the championship. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position anytime, which is great. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASKETBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything. Again, we love having our partners at Kalshi on board with us for 76ers Daily. A great partner to have. There's a ton going on the Kalshi app always. So get in there, check it out. FanArchBasketball to get $10 when you trade 10. And speaking of money moves, right? Moving money. Let's talk cap hits and draft picks, right? For this 76ers squad moving forward. Really, when it comes to this team, this roster, this organization, what does this 76ers team need? What do they need as a squad, right? Consistency when it comes to the lineup, right? We saw Embiid, we saw Drummond, other players, Maxey fought his injury woes last season. They need a dynamic playmaker. They need a perimeter shooter, especially if Grimes and Oubre are not brought back, right? And bench depth. The 76ers averaged only 24.6 assists this season, which was the second fewest in the NBA. That is a tough pill to swallow when it comes to the way the pace of this game is played, moving the ball quickly up and down the floor. Only 24.6 assists per game. That's shocking to me. When I saw that stat, that was absolutely shocking. Bench depth is going to be absolutely key for the squad to support the strong starting five. We know this 76ers team has a fantastic starting five. They always have, I feel like. They've always had a strong starting five. But really, how can they build off of that starting five, get that strong bench, that strong support coming off the bench? Well, they do have some future draft assets, right? The 76ers have 7 first-round picks over the next 7 years, 3 of which can be traded. Because Philly owes Brooklyn a 2028 top 8 protected pick, it is not allowed to trade its own first-rounder until 2030. So they are going to have to wait a few years to be able to trade that 2030 pick. The 76ers have 12 second-rounders available as well. So if they don't get anything in the first round or don't have anything available in the first round, they do have things available in the second round. And I know all of you are going to say, hey, there's not much talent that comes out of the second round. Well, that's why we have the G League. We have that developmental league that we can get those guys some run time before we move them up to that top tier, that top squad. So really, future first rounders owed to the 76ers. 2028 unprotected from the LA Clippers. 2029 top 3 protected swap with the Clippers as well. And so really, there's good draft capital available, if you will, moving forward for this team, which is great news. So another way to build on the roster. So according to Spottrack.com, that's where I go personally to get. That's where I go to look at contracts. That's where I go to look at salary cap info. Excellent source for all that information. So if you want to go check that out, you can. That's where I get all of my information, Spottrack.com. Really, so huge cap space issues for the 76ers going into this year and next year. So I'm talking 26-27 as well as 27-28 seasons. Really, for 26-27, the biggest cap hits for this team, Joel Embiid, $57.9 million cap hit. Paul, and that's an estimate. So I believe it's around between 57.9 and 58.1 million is the cap hit for Joel Embiid. Paul George is right at 54.1 million on the cap hit. Tyrese Maxey is 40.7 million on the cap hit. Quentin Grimes, 16.6 million. Kelly Oubre Jr. is 15.9 million, and VJ is $11.67 million cap hit. So really, just within those 6 players, massive money being shelled out, right? Just for those 6 players. Now, granted, that's great talent between those 6 players. So really what's left for the remainder of the roster is not much. But total cap allocations for the 76ers next season, $236,825,232. Massive number. Let me say that again. $236,825,232. So what does that mean? It means they're over the cap by $71,825,232. This GM that comes in to replace Daryl Morey is going to have his hands full. He's going to have a lot of questions to answer on how he's going to restructure this, because that is a massive number. How is he going to spread that out? How is he going to rework some of these contracts to make this make sense? First apron space, they have $26,209,766. So when we talk about aprons, it's a certain amount of money that they're allowed to spend allocated over the cap. So second apron space is $39,209,766. And these aprons, the way they work, the way that they're designed, these aprons are going to make it extremely difficult when it comes to how they want to build this roster. So yes, there is quote unquote space available. However, it's only going to cost them even more money when it comes to that luxury tax moving forward. So really a ton of questions for ownership and in the front office that need to be answered as soon as possible. Really, as soon as the new GM is announced, walks in that front door, there are multiple. I don't want you to think that the 76ers are alone in this. They're absolutely not. There are multiple franchises that are going through this same issue right now when it comes to luxury tax, cap space. They're paying their top players an astronomical amount of money, and then they're trying to figure out, okay, how can we make this work so that we're not hindering ourselves or mortgaging too much of our future, so we can continue to compete with the rest of the league on the court. Really, so the sooner they can get somebody in this spot, the better the franchise is going to be, so they can get some of these questions answered and get the ball rolling. But speaking of questions, let's go to the question of the day. I love the question of the day. Like I said, best part of the show, one of my favorite parts of being a show host, a broadcaster, is being able to interact with the fans and get your feedback as well. So really, I talked about, possible GM prospects moving forward for this franchise, and really some great names were thrown out there. So out of my question of the day, out of those top picks for the new GM, who is your favorite of those and why? Again, we've got Bob Myers, who is overseeing this entire process right now for the 76ers, Matt Lloyd from the Timberwolves, Nick Uren, Phoenix Mercury, Elton Brand, we all know that name. He was with the 76ers before. He was the GM in 2018. And then Vince Roseman from the OKC Thunder as well. So let me know your thoughts. I want to know exactly who you're thinking, why this person or that person would be a great pick for the position. But really, for me, this is my last show filling in for 76ers Daily. It's been an absolute blast. I've had so much fun filling in on 76ers Daily the last few shows. Really talking 76ers hoops and being able to interact with you, the fans in Philly, has been an absolute joy. I really think 76ers fans are some of the best in the league, and you love your teams. All of Philly loves their teams. 76ers, you're always super proud of your 76ers, and I appreciate all of you for reaching out during my time filling in, and I hope you welcome me back anytime that 76ers Daily needs somebody to fill in for the show. So again, loved it. Love being here with you and the 76ers fans. I appreciate all of you. I'm grateful for the opportunity. And so for Jason, Oliver, and Isaac back in New York, I appreciate all of you as well for everything that you do to help get the show ready each and every day. Again, I'm Brant McCoskey. I've been your host the last few days right here on 76ers Daily, presented by Kalshi. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. I hope you have a great weekend as well. Take care.